Satnam. Welcome to this third chapter of the India sleep story with me, Patwant. Our second day in Rishikesh found us exploring sacred ashrams, temples and caves, as well as practicing yoga on a jungle-fringed Ganges beach. We travelled in a big Shiva-blessed bus that transported us safely along a mountain pass, etched precariously above the mystical Ma Ganga that flowed way below us. Our second day in Rishikesh started with morning yagna. Yagna is an act of worship that involves a fire ceremony and is held in one of the courtyards of the ashram under large, colourful, cloth-bound trees. As if an integral part of the divinely orchestrated morning ritual, the first rays of sunlight are filtered between branches by a haze of incense and fire smoke. Red carpets are rolled out for us to sit on, and groups of us gather around fire pits that are lit with ingenious handmade organic hardened cow dung firelighters. The fire pit rims are sprinkled with petals, and a young monk walks around handing out rations of uncooked rice into our cupped hands that we later offer into the fire at specific times during the ceremony. Puja Swami Chitanand Saraswati Ji, the spiritual head of the ashram, led the yagna most mornings we were there. Other times it was led by Puja Sattvi Bhagavanti Ji, the inspiring, wise, powerful American spiritual teacher and leader who has called this ashram her home for over 25 years. Yagna is attended by all the young monks of the ashram. They all chant their hearts out with inspiring devotion and passion. Yagna is said to purify the environment and the individuals involved in it. Every wish in life is said to be fulfilled. We all fell in love with the ashram canteen food and ate most of our meals there. After breakfast, we gathered and met our guide, Mahavir Singh, an incredible man and authentic guide, overflowing with humility, wisdom, knowledge, and inspiring personal stories. He is a devotee of Babaji and has been guiding people from all corners of the globe for many years. We walked to our bus across a footbridge between cows, monkeys, and a body being cremated below us on the river's edge. Life and death is intricately connected, and in India it is not hidden or masked from everyday life. A stark reminder of the journey all of us must make, and an assurity that life always continues beyond us. Our first stop was the Shivananda ashram. After a steep step climb, we reached the temple that was overflowing with devotees. We sat on marble under the shade of a structure just outside the temple and meditated as the devotees chanted in the full-to-capacity temple in front of us. Once we left the temple, we walked down towards the ashram's ghat. The colour of the water was etheric, almost luminous in the bright sunlight. We dipped our feet and hands into the river and savoured our magical location before making our way back to the bus that hosted a black head of Lord Shiva wrapped in Rudraksha mala beads. He was strategically placed in the centre of the large front window and gazed protectively towards us as we swayed along the streets of Rishikesh towards the Kriya Yoga ashram. The ashram was founded by a devotee of Paramahansa Yogananda. It is a cool, dome-shaped building with 2 swans guarding the entrance. Swans are revered in Vedic scriptures. They represent the human soul, discernment, purity, grace, transformation, love, and divinity. A large, shiny, brass Lord Ganesha greeted us as we stepped inside the building. Lord Ganesha symbolizes protection and is the remover of obstacles from one's path. We were guided to a dark circular room where we meditated in silence. This was a welcome, suspended, silent space in the cacophony of overstimulation that is India. Beyond the veil of chaos lies the deepest, most pure, easily accessible peace and connection. I could have remained here for hours, but a few minutes was perfect. Our journey continued. We left the bustle of Rishikesh behind us as we headed towards the snow-capped Himalayan peaks in the distance. The jungle got more dense and the mountain pass more treacherous, with its sharp, blind corners. Indian drivers hoot not because you are offending them, but rather as a warning which is welcome on the blind corners of this perilous pass. Highway 58 leads to our next stop, Vasista Cave. This is one of my favorite places that I visited in 2011 with a group of fellow yogis after the 11-11-11 Yoga Festival in Rishikesh. Vasista Cave is where one of the 7 Saptarishis meditated, lived, and attained his Mahasamadhi, Saint Vasista. The 7 Saptarishis are said to have received Vedic wisdom and teachings through divine inspiration that they passed down orally from generation to generation. The word Saptarishi means 7 sages. Over thousands of years, many yogis have used this humble, unassuming, sacred cave to meditate and attain enlightenment. Vasista Cave feels like a small womb. It has a birth canal entrance that is dark, save for the small clay oil lamps dimly lighting the space. It takes a while for your eyes to adjust as you enter the small circular space that can tightly fit about 10 seated people inside. There is a low altar directly ahead of the entrance. It has a Shiva lingam on it, amongst candles, a photo frame, garlands, and incense. You sit on the ground and meditate here where countless yogi masters over the centuries have meditated. Every time I write about or think about this place, my body lights up like a fluorescent lamp. I sat near the entrance. Craig was sitting behind me and at one point tapped my shoulder and pointed to the rock wall to our right. The candlelight caught shards of rock that glistened and formed the unmistakable image of a man's facial profile. I saw his forehead, nose, hair, and beard, distinctly, shimmering in the candlelight. I blinked and re-looked. The image was still there, clear. We heard afterwards that there have been many accounts of people seeing Swami Purushottamananda in his lifelike form here. There was a photo of him in a frame as we exited the temple. The clear image I saw on the rock wall definitely resembled the face in the photograph. This moment is a forever precious memory to me. Swami Purushottamananda lived in this cave from 1928 until 1961, when he attained his Mahasamadhi. Mahasamadhi is a state where an enlightened being consciously leaves their physical body. Mahasamadhi is something that only happens once. With a Mahasamadhi, a yogi is said to also dissolve their karma and end the cycle of death and rebirth. It is different to the death of an unenlightened being. Vasista Cave extends several kilometers into the mountain. Swami Purushottamananda sealed the cave off, as there were and still are siddhas who use the sacred cave for undisturbed meditation. Siddhas are perfected beings. It is said that siddhas have been coming here in their subtle bodies for thousands of years, and to meditate here feels incredibly powerful. On our second visit, we meditated in this cave for a very short amount of time. The spiritual energy is tangible here, and it is as if you enter a portal when you meditate. It feels like there is a great sense of coming into alignment with all that is. An immediate, expansive state is experienced, and it feels like it would be easy to meditate here for hours, and it would only feel like a few minutes. We briefly dipped into this holy portal, littered with a lineage of enlightened beings that still visit in their subtle bodies. We pulled ourselves away and walked down onto the Ganges beach. Around the corner from this cave is Ardhana Cave, which we were told is where Saint Vasista's wife meditated, and is the one who decided to live here after her husband, Saint Vasista, attempted to end his life in the river after all their children had died. It is said that Goddess Ganga refused this suicide. This is also known as the Jesus Cave, and where Jesus is said to have meditated in his lost years. After visiting the caves and having a spontaneous dance on the beach to pumping music from a beatbox that a couple of youngsters were carrying as they walked past, I taught a kriya on this majestic beach, surrounded by invisible yet tangible avatars, dense jungle, and the ever-present strong and flowing Ma Ganga. Magic and deep mystery live here, where saints and masters effortlessly slip in and out of unseen realms, and where miracles have space to breathe and be seen. That night we bunked Arti and explored the shopping strip amongst cows, dogs, scooters, locals, pilgrims, tourists, seekers, and yogis. A fragrant mix of incenses, spices, animals, people, smoke, and earth infused the air. The next day, Mahavir is taking us to Devaprayag. Devaprayag is the sacred place where two rivers, the Alaknanda and the Bhagirathi, meet to become the Ganges. The river is deep and strong here, and it is a popular pilgrimage site. There are chains you hold on to immerse yourself into the river so that you don't get washed away by the strong current. It is considered to be as holy as the Triveni Sangam confluence in Allahabad, where the Ganges, Yamuna, and Saraswati rivers meet. Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna Nadis, or energy channels, correspond to these three rivers, that represent the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and the superhighway of infinite creative consciousness. Guided by a sincere Swami arranged by Mahavirji, we took part in a ceremony to bless our ancestors here.